Reconstructing Ukraine, a lucrative opportunity for American corporations. Welcome to our channel, where we bring you the latest insights into global events that impact our lives. In this video, we'll explore the topic of Ukraine's reconstruction and its potential to benefit American corporations like BlackRock. We'll uncover the reasons behind America's support for Ukraine and examine the role of anti-corruption activists in revealing the truth. It appears that Ukrainian officials have been indulging in lavish vacations, private jets, luxury cars, yachts, and clothing ever since Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022. Despite the fact that America has sent nearly $100 billion in aid to Ukraine, which is more than what was given to Afghanistan's military over the span of 20 years and more than 3 times the aid sent to South Vietnam between 1959 and 1975. Not all of this money has reached the people who actually need it. Due to Ukraine being one of the most corrupt countries in Europe, this money has ended up in the hands of Ukrainian oligarchs who have been spending it on things other than defense and the economy. It is disheartening that such corruption is taking place, especially since the aid is coming from American taxpayers' pockets. Accountability is necessary, given the huge sum of money involved. Several senior officials, including the Deputy Defense Minister, have resigned, and President Zelensky has removed a number of key government figures accused of misusing their positions for their own gain. The corruption in Ukraine is all over the news these days, and it is alarming that such activities are still happening, even with so much attention on the issue. While the invasion by Russia is clearly wrong, accountability for the aid given to Ukraine is equally important. In 1991, Ukraine gained independence from the Soviet Union. However, after living under Soviet dictatorship for almost 70 years, the people of Ukraine had forgotten how to govern themselves. When Ukraine officially separated from the Soviet Union, it was left with a massive power vacuum. The country needed a president, a constitution, and a functional government, but these things couldn't appear out of thin air overnight. The same powerful families and businesses that thrived during Ukraine's Soviet years stepped up to guide Ukraine to its new independent future. Unfortunately, this led to corruption becoming a fundamental part of how the new country was run. Bribery, putting family members in positions of power, and backdoor deals were the norm in Ukraine. They were not crimes, but rather a necessary part of how the government functioned. While this may seem crazy to those in the West, this is how most small countries operate. However, corruption was tapping the country dry of its resources, leaving Ukraine vulnerable. For example, when Russia first invaded Ukraine in 2014, the country's security forces did not have the necessary resources to stop it. This was due to decades of Ukrainian oligarchs siphoning money away from its intended uses. By 2014, Ukraine and the rest of the world realized that they had a massive corruption problem. How could Ukraine ever dream of becoming part of NATO or the EU if it couldn't even control its own government? Despite efforts to root out corruption, things went from bad to worse. Ukraine has struggled with corruption in its government for over 30 years, and while the public procurement system known as ProZorro has helped improve fairness in business, it has done little to address government corruption. Examples of corrupt behavior include a transportation official taking bribes to allocate minibus routes and a Ministry of Defense official paying millions for ineffective bulletproof vests and pocketing the difference. These officials have used their ill-gotten gains for personal luxuries such as vacations, sports cars, and expensive jewelry. Despite the exposure of this corruption, the Ukrainian government has refused to take action and even accused those reporting on corruption of being Russian propaganda. However, the United States has its own motives for supporting Ukraine, including the desire to overthrow Putin and shift Europe away from Russian natural gas to American natural gas. Rebuilding Ukraine presents a lucrative opportunity for firms such as BlackRock, as it will grant greater access to American corporations. We have discussed numerous reasons why this is the case in previous videos, which you can find in this playlist by clicking on the card in the top right corner. It is crucial for the U.S. to maintain Ukraine's image as a blameless victim and continue to provide financial aid, even if reports of corruption or misuse of funds arise. Those who question this strategy are often deemed anti-democratic or pro-Russian. However, it is essential to note that the U.S. initially promised to provide defensive weapons only to Ukraine, but has now escalated to sending tanks and long-range missiles. While it may not be permissible to question this shift, given that it involves a nuclear-armed superpower, the truth is starting to emerge. Ukrainian anti-corruption activists are risking everything to uncover and report on corruption within the government. As a result, several high-ranking officials have resigned or been fired due to corruption allegations. The ultimate goal for the U.S. is to open up Ukraine for business, allowing American corporations to profit as they have done in the past with other countries like Iraq. In fact, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton once referred to Iraq as a business opportunity. Unfortunately, videos about the wars in the Middle East or other controversial topics are typically demonetized on YouTube. Thank you for watching our video. If you want to stay up to date with our latest insights, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. See you in the next video.